Good to have Shabbos, everyone. Parshas Hazinu, Shabbos TeShuva. Vart, the Rebbe says in the Sicha of Hazinu, Tavshin Yud Ches, 1958, or the end of 57, also printed in the Sicha, brings down the difference between Moshe Rabbeinu and Yeshaya Navi. Moshe Rabbeinu says Hazinu Shemayim, the word Hazana for heaven, and Sishma to listen to the Aretz. And Yeshaya Navi says Shimu Shemayim V'Hazina Aretz. It uses the word Shema to heaven and Hazina La'aretz. The Medrash brings down that Shema is from a distance, and Hazinu is from a closeness. So Moshe was close to heaven, so he says Hazinu Shemayim, and Yeshaya Navi was closer to earth, so he says Hazinu Aretz. And the reason why we have to have both together is because we know that both Moshe and Yeshaya were using the heaven and earth as witnesses to testify about how the Jewish people behaved throughout the generations. And when it comes to testifying, there has to be the perspective from where the person's coming from. And we know it says about Mashiach, when he's going to come, he's going to be able to judge and he's going to know where the person's coming from. So from Moshe Rabbeinu's perspective, from heaven, so we see everything as absolute godliness. It's hard to have a perspective of the way things are in our world, in the anxieties and the stresses, in the things that we're dealing with from our perspective of how the world is separate from Hashem. It's not. It's a chiddush. It's unique to say that there's a God. It's what we see in front of us is separation. And Yeshaya Navi's come from the other perspective, that he sees us from where we are standing. But the idea is that we shouldn't just stay in our situation. We have to elevate to a higher reality. So when we put the two realities together, which is the absolute view of understanding our situation, but knowing that we could be higher, that's the idea of Hazinu Shemayim V'Sishma Aretz, and together between Yeshaya and Moshe Rabbeinu. And I want to apply this to what the Rebbe says also in a mimer as well, the Torah this week. It's brought down. It says, we say about Rosh Hashanah, the day man is created. It says Vayitzer Adam Elikim Es Adam, and uses the word Vayitzer has two yuds. The Gemara brings down two opinions. One opinion is that it was man and woman made together, back to back. And the second one is that the Yetzer Tov, the second opinion is that the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara were created together. And so the Rebbe says it also has to be back to back. What's the idea of back to back? We know that in order for a couple to be a couple, in order for a husband and wife to live together, they has to be separated from the concept of back to back to be able to face each other. And that way is the way we're fruitful and multiply and build a family. And so too, Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara, that if we're created back to back and we have our Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Tov, but they're going in different directions. One is facing one way, the other is facing the other way. So that brings confusion and that brings inconsistencies. When we separate it, and we separate and identify everything for what it is, then actually the Yetzer Hara has a lot of energy, much more than the Yetzer Tov, like we've talked many times. And when we're able to face it face to face with a single agenda, like we say about the Levites that carried the Leviim, B'nai Kahas, that carried the Aron, they had to face each other. When you face each other, panim upon him, so then you're able to use each other's energy to get to where we have to be, to elevate out of our reality, like it says by Hazinu, and to go to a higher reality of the way Moshe Rabbeinu sees it. And comes the amazing thing is that Rosh Hashanah is the day man's created back to back, Yetzer Hara, man and woman, and it comes to Yom Kippur. It says Lifnei Hashem Titaru, that we're able to in a period of 10 days to disconnect, to identify, understand each other from both angles, from both heaven, earth, from both Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara, and to be able to be facing, and we should say Lifnei Hashem, before Hashem Titaru, like it says Bakshu Panei, we're seeking from the inner face of Hashem to have a relationship one-on-one. And that's an amazing idea. We find that also the angels, that when they're able to identify their animal energy, so it says that I found him, that they make a lot of noise and they lift up the chair, like the Alter Rebbe says in the Torah in Parshas Hazinu, that when you harness the animal energy to do something positive, so then it becomes a single picture of panim upanim. And I want to wish everyone, it's Shabbos TeShuva. The Rebbe says that an amazing thing that in Rosh Hashanah we don't say vidu, we don't confess. The only time we do a little confession in Rosh Hashanah, the Rebbe brings down, is between the blowing of the shofar, because the Satan is confused. And sometimes when the Satan listens to our confessions, he uses our own confessions against us. So like someone was telling me today, sometimes you have key words that algorithms pick up when someone's looking for a job. So sometimes you have to actually take away these keywords, try to beat the algorithm. And how do we beat the algorithm of the Satan? He's looking for words that he could find to use against us. Is that when we do TeShuva and we come to Shabbos TeShuva and we get ready for Yom Kippur, we do it with Simcha. And Simcha parts together, breaks boundaries. That's maybe an algorithm that the Satan's not looking for. Maybe he's looking for us to be crying, he's looking for us to have bitterness. But we come to TeShuva with Simcha, then we can go panim to panim, we go face to face, and face Hashem, Lefnei Hashem, to find Tahara and Kedusha, and to be benched the Sharon Tevim Sukkah, Begashim Beruchnis. Good Shabbos and an easy fast.